Hello, guys, and I want to talk about coins that might rule this bull run and why the altcoin bull run might come a little bit early. Some people said it was going to be DeFi, some people said it was going to be RWAs, some people said it was going to be gaming, some people said it was going to be AI. And I'm sure all of those will have their moments and they'll make good money for you guys. But I do have a feeling the ones that are going to shoot up first are the coins with good supported airdrops. And you can just look at Solana, for example. It's actually risen a lot more than other cryptos. Now, we're going to set Bitcoin and Ethereum aside. They're kind of by themselves because realistically, like Bitcoin is the index coin and basically like you can't really compare Bitcoin to any other coin. It gets a lot of leeway. There's like a lot of financial inclusion with Bitcoin, and also like there's just a lot of things going for Bitcoin like ETFs that other coins don't have. Similarly with Ethereum, it's where a lot of the liquidity is, and people are going to always pump into EVMs. Other coins don't really have those luxuries, so they need to stand themselves apart. And I do think it's going to be the coins with like highly supported airdrops that have big anticipation that are going to make the cut. Right now, we've seen Solana with a couple, and it's actually grown much faster than other coins. So much faster that it's actually gotten like top 5 within the rankings. It's jumped XRP, and it might jump BNB sooner or later. Now, others that are actually being mentioned are like Sui and SEI. Sui, we know, has 6 airdrops, and it might actually be the next Solana because people want to buy Sui for the airdrops. And for the airdrops, you have to buy SUI because you need SUI to actually like take part in the ecosystem, which is exactly how you get those airdrops. So in a way, it's a big incentivization to buy, use, and hold Sui. And that's even better because you not only have to hold Sui, you either have to stake it, DeFi farm it, or do lending with it. And that actually makes people very familiar with the apps and very familiar with the ecosystem. I believe one of the giant barriers to people basically be basically adopting any ecosystem at all is they're not familiar with it. They don't know how it's done. And there's no incentive for them to try it. Well, that's not the case if you do airdrops, especially with the Jupiter airdrop and other airdrops actually being worth thousands of dollars to people. And the story with the guy that got $1.1 million in airdrop, even though I don't think that's actually true, that gets people excited about airdrops because, they want free money. They don't really want to invest their own money, but they want free money to actually play with in the market. And the airdrops are basically how you're going to get it at this point. So with like the building on the Jupiter hype and the Win hype and all this other stuff, Sui is actually, I think, doing the best right now in copying that and basically feeding off of that popularity. And I do think like there's some excitement about the Win airdrops and also for things like ZK and Layer 0 and ZK Sync and also for things like Partisia. Now, it's going to be the layer 1s that actually benefit the most from these airdrops and the popularity because generally to get these airdrops, you have to buy the layer 1 coin, use the protocol to bridge, and I think that's just going to get more people into the layer 1 ecosystem. Now, some of these blockchains don't want to allocate a decent amount for airdrops, and I think that's actually wrong. I think you should pump some liquidity into these airdrops. Now, will these protocols actually drop some in price if you do airdrops? Like, did Jupiter drop right off after the airdrop? Yeah, it did, but it might actually just go back up. You're also going to have a couple that die out, but I think both the parent chain should fund a little bit of this. And the protocols themselves that are springing up on the parent chains should fund some of this with their treasury fund as well. The more protocols that are popular on your parent chain, the more popular parent chain is. And don't get me wrong, like the bull run is about narrative, but it's also about just attracting people to use the chain. The one that actually wins the protocols that actually win the most are not going to be the best technological breakthroughs. I think essentially with the CD, DVD, ROM, Blu-ray, HD, DVD thing, I don't think the best technology actually won out. And I think it's going to be fairly similar to crypto because honestly, a lot of the crypto technology is very similar. Sure, one might actually have a little bit more TPS than the other, but that's not what's going to make something successful or unsuccessful. It's about the adoption and the hype you can drive it. And you know what you need for that? You need people to actually mention your coin. You need to be people to be excited about your coin, and you actually need people to take part in your ecosystem. If you just have a super technologically advanced coin, no airdrops, no community, no development, no apps, no DeFi, no one's going to actually talk about it. You can get as much hype as you want, but if people don't really have a reason to hold your coin, you don't have staking, you don't have DeFi, you don't have airdrops, you don't have incentives for people to actually take part in your blockchain, people are not going to take part of it. Why? Because people don't like doing things for free. Even if they're holding your asset, like they're just going to hold and pray, but you're not going to have any activity on your blockchain in that way. If you incentivize these activities, people will get used to it. And once they get used to it and comfortable with it, they will actually keep doing it. Once they actually see there's opportunity there and that it's easy to do and use, because a lot of people are actually afraid to dip their toes in. But once they do, once that fear is removed, they're going to actually keep doing it, and they're probably going to stick with the blockchain that they first got onto, because going to another blockchain, it's another thing. I don't really want to try something new. You got to think people do think like that, because that's why so many people have stuck with Ethereum. It's not because Ethereum has the best technology. It's not because Ethereum's super fast and super cheap. It's not. It's really expensive and really slow. It's because they got on Ethereum first. They're comfortable with Ethereum and they don't want to go anywhere else because either they're lazy or they're just afraid. And I think Solana, Sui, and some of the others have actually caught on to that. They're hey, there's going to be a lot of new people coming that want to come into crypto. Instead of having them go over to Ethereum, why don't we have these incentives so they come over to our blockchain? So, I think Solana, Sui, SEI, and a couple of others. I think Cardano should do more of it. I like Partisia that's actually doing it right now. And I think some of the layer 2s are definitely doing airdrops as well. You can't just be doing airdrops and not promoting them or supporting them. You have to promote and support them as well, obviously, because people want to see some kind of future for these airdrops they're getting. They don't want to see an airdrop that just dropped to zero right after they get it. Jupiter dropped in half, but it still has 60 cents worth of value per coin, and some people are actually holding it because they think Jupe is going to go back up, which it definitely might go back up after this. I would have sold half of it right when it came out, because that's what I would do with any airdrop. They want to see it being supported, kind of like the Uniswap airdrop. They don't want it to be one of those small airdrops that fades away, and I don't think Jupiter is going to be that. And I think some of these other airdrops for other protocols I'm actually seeing are going to be like that too. They want to see a team behind this airdrop, commitment, white paper, stuff like that. I think you have to have all that laid out, and then you have to promote the airdrop on social media. Maybe get some crypto influencers to promote it as well. And I think if you do that with your project and you have support from the layer 1 chain that you're doing this on, this will benefit your project a lot as well as the layer 1 chain. So I would definitely be looking for layer 1 chains that have good supported airdrops coming up, because that's going to garner the people. That's going to get the most people into the chain. And I think if once a layer 1 chain gets one really successful airdrop, it can actually build on top of that. And I think there's going to be more airdrops in Solana. That's why they did the phone. I think there's going to be more airdrops on Near, Injective. We'll see which chains actually do that. But once you actually see start seeing an L1 chain getting hype because of these things, people are definitely going to start to buy in. And I think those are the L1s that you actually need to aim for right now, because those will most likely pump first. If you want the strategy of jumping from coin to coin, those are going to be the coins that pump first, and then the coins that don't really have these airdrops, don't have the DeFi stuff, they're going to pump later, and they're probably not going to pump quite as much. So not only are these the best coins to get in, I believe, I also believe that they're also going to be the ones that kickstart the altcoin season early, and they're going to be the ones that mainly benefit. The coins that have incentives for people to hold, the coins that actually have these drops and cutoff dates, they're actually going to get people to buy. And the coins that actually require you to interact with the ecosystem to get these airdrops, and instead of just holding and waiting for a cutoff date, they're going to do extremely well, because they'll have more holding power over the people that actually get in on it, because those people will be invested in their ecosystem. You have to get people to get to the airdrop. You also have to convince them that there's a future for that airdrop token, so they'll keep trading on the platform. And it's just I think an incentive where you're actually actively getting people to actually trade on the platform is going to be way better than where you just tell them to hold. I think hold in staking is actually fine, or hold in farming is fine as well. But where you actually have them do stuff with the ecosystem is the best, because then they get familiar with every aspect of the ecosystem, and they won't hesitate to really use it in the future. So Solana Sui is doing really good. I see Partisia doing it, ZK Sync, Layer 0, and there's a couple of other protocols that people have actually told me about. that are actually doing this as well. I'm not saying the other narratives won't be big. I'm sure like gaming and like RWA will be really big, as well as like DeFi and other stuff. But the ones that can attract people to their chain and do stuff on chain with like good rewards that are actually supported, I think those are going to be the ones that actually go first, and they're going to kickstart off our altcoin bull run. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.